Hello there, and welcome to The Last Caretaker. And today we got some nice starting tips for you and lots of general information about this game. For me, this game is done. I've done everything that can be done in this game that I know of. So far, it's still early access, and more stuff has come, and this is going to be subject to change, obviously, with balancing issues and all the other stuff that's going to be added later on. Maybe if they get around to it. But first, we're going to start off with the character building and the enhancers and the skills and stuff like that. Not all these stats are going to be the same. Vitality, for example, and pressure, we don't need any points in those whatsoever. Most of the stuff you can deal with pretty easily and not worry about your vitality at all. And as for the pressure, you go down too deep, you're only taking a very small amount of vitality damage when you go down below the depth that you can go down, which is a whopping whole 10 meters, which is pretty much garbage. But anyways, there's only one spot in the game where you need to dive down there, and it's only about 30 meters down, and you don't take enough damage to actually worry. And then right when you get, you dive down there, and then there's an air pocket you go up into. And then there's a healing device right there. So all that damage you took going down there, which isn't very much, you can just heal it right away. And then of course, there's some other combat in there. And all the other stuff down there, below there, there's loot there, but it's nothing special. There's nothing really worthwhile to actually justify putting more points in this game on there. And there's nothing really else in this game that really requires you to have an amount of pressure to deal with it. So we don't need those things at all. What is important is going to be your carrying capacity, because that is where it's at in this game, because you can't carry crap. Everything wastes too much in this game, so you're going to want to put that one up as your first priority. And as for the other stuff, you're going to want to put like everything. Don't put like 100% of your skill points into Hauling Mastery, 10 at a time, but level it up, maybe 2 to 1 for your battery until your battery's like around 50 points in there, and then level it up accordingly after that, because your battery is going to be a lot more effective to have more power than it is to actually make things cost less in this game, because this whopping 0.5% per point is pretty much garbage for your consumption on there, and you get a lot more battery, you get a lot more power out of just adding more points into your battery. It's a lot more effective to do that than it is to divide it around there. And of course, obviously power management would be a lot better place for consumption than it would be to put it in the scrapper and engineering. And scrapper is going to be a lot better than engineering for your power usage in there, because scrapping is where most of the power usage is going to be drained off of you. But you are going to be using your power to recharge your guns and stuff in this game. So yeah, that is a lot better to have it in your power management, because that does everything. So that's just more effective to have that. But you need the battery power to actually make it worthwhile in the first place. So yeah, I would go with that for your stat priorities in this game. Then you might want to not forget about the improved hydraulics, because scrapping stuff in this game, you just pick it up and you scrap it, or you can just pick it up and run it to your scrapper and throw it in there manually and do it that way, and then that can be more effective in some cases than not. But that is what my rundown is of these skills. My last level up, I got 25, so it's pretty good. Level 24 right now, and I got 10 skill points. So you can learn everything in this game, but you're not going to have enough points to learn everything right off the bat when you level up. So, but lots of these skills skills don't really matter too much. So let's go over the priorities on those. One of the things you want to learn pretty much everything in this these departments right here, but you don't really need to learn stuff like these battery things. You don't really need to make. I never use these glow sticks. I've rarely made a small battery pack, because you can find a whole bunch of them, but it is kind of useful to have later on, but you don't need it right away. And like making battery packs and making grenades, we don't need that. This one here, for example, is supposed to be like a battery pack on your back for a backpack, but it's so small, it's about equivalent to one of these small batteries. It's pretty much garbage. You don't need that at all. This electric pistol, definitely get that. That's your go-to gun that's your go-to pistol for the rest of the game. This thing just doesn't compare to this one here. It's like, you can put the breacher barrel on it to make it effective, but this thing is so laggy. You would think the electrical gun would be laggy, but this one here is not. And as for lights, we don't need those ones there either. I never use them whatsoever. You are going to have a fabricator, recycler, and a diesel generator for yourself, obviously, but then you can worry about the small canisters and everything like that. You want to prioritize your power systems and of course your electrical boosts for your engines and stuff like that, so you can build your own and make your ship go faster. But what you don't need is these efficiency matrices. They are a limited time thing usage on there. I wish it would say that more clearly on there, but it doesn't. And if you can only build this thing and only use it like 20 times, it's pretty much garbage. Especially this one here. Like, okay, I'm going to build this one here. Oh, it's going to last me 20 times. I lose, 10% less energy? Nothing else uses water and fuel and gas for what you can build that this early in the game right now. It just seems like a big, huge waste of time. So you don't need skills on that. And then if you do want to use your guns, you can use the breacher barrel. But it is pretty laggy right now and not really effective. This laser scope is pretty bad. We don't need grenades because it's kind of overkill. So you don't need that. Like the suppression barrel, there's no reason for for stealth in this game because it doesn't really apply very much in this game. But you do want the red dot laser on there. I never bother with the flamethrowers because again, that's carrying more, petrol fuel with you to fuel them up and all that kind of stuff. It just seems like a waste of time. The bolt rifle is nice and all, and since it's your first rifle you get, you might jump the gun and build it, but the ammo takes a lot of ammo to do stuff with it, and of course that's more carry weight for yourself, and they have to micromanage that stuff. And then all this stuff right here, you can save that to later. Until you actually need to grow your humans. This stuff, that's when stuff that comes into priority. And you're going to be way higher than level 10 before you actually need to bother making this stuff and growing your humans. So don't bother with that until like way later on. Don't bother with those enhancers at all. And just worry about all the other stuff that you're going to prioritize and need, like these boosters and all that other stuff, like I said. But the go-to gun in this game is going to be the electric rifle. That's going to be your most important weapon. You can hold it down for an AoE burst. Use 10 energy to charge it up there, or charge it up for a couple seconds. Doesn't matter. You charge it up for a little bit. You can use like 2 energy or 4 energy or whatever. It does an AoE effect when you charge it, and it's very handy to have. So that's a really awesome gun to have. And then stuff like, this here gun doesn't use any barrels. So if you're going to be using this as your main gun, you don't need a barrel, like a stabilizing barrel. You could use that for your sniper gun to make it a little bit easier, because that's the only gun I would recommend keeping for yourself, but not using, not running around with it. Keep it on your boat ready to go so you can kill some sharks and some guys from long range, but running around with it is just not feasible. It's too heavy. It's like 20 kgs, and the bullets are like 1 kg each. So yeah, it's not really that great for yourself. And then lots of this stuff is pretty pointless. Like these ones here, these artifact things that use it one time, and if you're lucky, you get a double. It's just a waste of priority on there. But anyways, we have that. And then another thing for logistics on here is when you start this game, they give you a good supply of diesel, but it runs out really fast. Like you start off here, you think you're doing good. This here gas station is along the way. You'll pick up some more, some more diesel for yourself. You go to the complex, you're pretty good. But then all of a sudden, you have to make this trip way over to here, and then you got to make sure you take up that diesel too, because if you don't, you might run out like I did. Like I ran out there and had to make a trip, and it took me an hour to make the trip because traveling north, the ways are really bad, and you keep getting like a half capside. You stop dead in your tracks, and it's just a pain in the butt to deal with it. So we're trying to worry about getting the proper angle when you're sailing around there to avoid that. But this is the only renewable supply of oil in this game, and you have to build a whole thing on there. It's a big, huge platform high in the sky, and it's just a pain in the ass to deal with it. But if you do want a renewable supply of oil, that is where you go. But you have to have the technology to actually build a machine to actually convert oil into diesel, and you have to build that there and power it up there, and then supply your boat with it. And just for an example, a 10-kilometer trip is going to take 5,000 liters of diesel. That's how much diesel you burn off. So 5,000 liters of diesel to make a 10-kilometer trip, and going from where I am now, that's a 12-kilometer trip. That's a lot of diesel. Your ship holds 2,000, so yeah, you're going to want to build a lot of storage containers for that, and that's just a lot of more work for you to do. But yeah, if you don't have the diesel, you're going at half speed, so that's going to suck for yourself. Another thing you can do for scrapping and stuff like that is, since we're here on the ship, I would build your scrapper right in the middle of your ship and put it sideways so you can pick up stuff and toss it on your ship and then scrap it that way, and save yourself a little bit of time. I'll show you what I mean in a second on there as we go around the ship and go there. Because just remember, you have this net. So you have this net right here, and it gives you some free resources. Over time, it's pretty handy to have. But you can get all the basic resources from this net and a little bit of a biomass to put your generator. So put your little biomass generator here for oil and an oil tank nearby and plug it into there. That would be a good idea for yourself, so you can get some backup oil. It's not really that efficient, but it's still better than nothing, and that's a good place to put it, is right near here. We don't really use the water too much in this game, so there's no reason to have it on your boat either, or they use the carbon dioxide. Trying to build that whole system on there for late end game stuff, it just doesn't work because it's so buggy and your ship can bug out. So yeah, it's not worth it. But yeah, when you're upgrading a ship, upgrade your engine parts first, and then do your diesel engine as a second priority. Make sure your engines, your electric engines are going first because you run out of diesel. And yeah, you just pick up stuff, so you get close to it and we'll just pick that up and run over here and scrap it. So that's an easy way to scrap stuff. So you want to bring a recycler with you so you can scrap stuff easily and do it that way. That's why I say put it on the boat, because you can just pick up stuff and just, okay, there's something there. I'm going to loot a whole bunch of stuff. There you go. Pick it up and chuck it. There you go. It's nearby. Now I can just put it in and scrap it. Good to go. Unfortunately, there's no hot key to just to automatically put your loot inside the chest. That would be convenient. And the AOE of actually grabbing the loot automatically from everything around around you, all the chests around you, is pretty small, so just be aware of that. And you're going to have a whole bunch of extra resources like copper and gold. You're going to have a shit ton of it, and you have nothing really to do with it at the moment. So yeah, you're going to have lots of extra resources, so a lot of chests are going to be used for that process. And then as for your power supplies in this game, these guys here are the better ones to do. So because these ones here, they don't get damaged. The solar panels don't get damaged too much, so they're going to be pretty effective, and not so much for these guys here. They're a lot better to have, obviously, because they just run all the time, and so you have stable power. But the wind goes up and wind goes down, so you still have to deal with that. But they lose about 20% durability a day, so you got to constantly come in there and repair them. So that's going to be more farming for you to actually keep these things up and running. So just be aware of that. So it might be better just to stick with a lot of solar panels and battery packs for yourself, and you can build more battery packs. I think you might have saw one along the way on there. I got a couple here and there stashed. There's one right there. So yeah, you can build these things later on. But your ship does carry 6K, and those ones will add what I don't know what they add anyways. What do they add? It doesn't say what they really add on there. But I think it's under 1K or 2K power for each of them. But that's what you want to do for your stuff. For the next part is, remember you have these mooring lines. It doesn't really remind you that you have these things, but when you come close to a dock, you can go there and dock yourself with these things, and that will help you out a lot. But we're not docked for a reason, because once you get into a new area and you're going to land, that dock in there could be covered with a whole bunch of enemies, which will jump onto your ship and then be a pain in the ass, especially the slimes in this game. They will come in there, they'll jump like 20 feet and land on your ship, and then they'll split apart and go all over the place. They'll jump onto your lights, climb up onto your ceilings. They'll go over the place, they'll hang around your little power supply since they're attracted to power, and they'll just sit there and like maybe drain the power or damage it, and it's just a pain in the ass. You want to try and avoid all the fights on the ship as much as possible, because you're going to be splash damaging and hitting your ship, and it can just be a pain. And here comes the leeches. Every night you're going to get attacked by leeches, and it's going to take you a lot of energy to deal with them. So what you can do is connect your gun to yourself and keep it fully charged all the time, and instead of actually worrying about the ships on the leeches on the land, just go there and dive into the water here and deal with them underwater. So stay underwater a bit, so when these guys start hatching at nighttime, we can deal with them. Let's get up there. There they go. Start hatching. We can they'll come after us. We can see them pretty easily, and then we can just go in circles. There's another one. But you're looking at a whole bunch of waves, like 5 or 6 waves of these guys constantly. Then there's more as you move around, and they just they don't come all at once, but they just keep coming slowly. And it is such a pain in the ass to deal with them, and we can't see crap at nighttime in a storm underwater either. We're going to put a light on there, and that doesn't help. But we're getting close to there, and there should be some more coming since they are spawning, but we don't see them. But yeah, they just keep coming and coming and coming, and trying to shoot down from your boat is just really annoying to deal with them all. So yeah, just recommend you just dive down into the water and just wait it out, basically. Wait for them to keep spawning and coming at you, and looking down and around for them. But if they're going to take a break, I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't want to deal with them anyways. We showed you how to deal with them. Showed you tips on that to save you some time. If they don't want to spawn in constantly, then good. They'll just back and forth with these guys, but it's like every night you got to deal with that kind of crap. Now once we're on the dock, make sure you clear the dock. Like there's the leeches over there. Now they're coming. It's a pain in the ass to deal with them this way, right? They come in there's 2 there, and there's more popping up here. It's a lot easier to deal with these little bastards when you're underground like this, and then you can kill them all at once type of thing. There we go. There's another wave over here. Just shoot them like that. Then they kill this to kill them one at a time. So there's another one. They will eventually kill themselves on top of you. They hit you like suicide themselves. But yeah, they just keep coming. Just keep looking around for them all. Check under your feet until they stop, basically, right? It is the whole thing when your ship is stopped and you gotta deal with these little these little annoyances. But it's like every day. That's one of the major drawbacks of this game. Is like it doesn't need to be every night, and doesn't need to have a constant supply of them either. But they do, and that's just a pain in the ass for them. But anyways, once the dock is clear, you can go ahead and moor. There's the cable right there, and that would be a lot better to deal with them that way. And there they come right there. So let's go there and screw that for now, and go to the next part of the combat part. So yeah, that's what I mean by clearing the dock. Grab some of the garbage you want to take and just chuck it onto your ship, and then scrap it that way, and then you can move your ship. Then you can have easier scrapping the thing than scrapping it one at a time type of thing. If you can get my meaning. But anyways, we can deal with these guys this way easily enough. But we can go ahead and take this cable and disconnect it and go to our weapon right here, and then we can connect that to ourselves, so we can keep that charged up and go there and take out the bigger guys and show you what that I mean about that. That was a little ball that you saw there. There's one over there too, and the easier way to deal with them. There he goes. Now he found me. There he is, right there. Speak of the devil, he finally aggroed enough to come after me. But we're going to come up here and show you a nice, easy way to do it. They don't hurt you too much. They just take a lot of time to kill them all. There we go. We'll get up here. Parkour our way up. And there we go. So there's both of them right there. So we can see them. And we can shoot them and they can't hit us. That's why we're up here. So just remember, take the high ground and they won't be able to hurt you. And if you can get the right sweet spot. There's one down. Move up a little bit. Just get this guy. There we go. My hit points aren't going down. They can't shoot up very well. Just remember that. The sideways are really good. I'm getting hit by leeches. Die faster. Right? These leeches, they can jump up anywhere you are standing, and they aggro from far away. They're a pain in the ass, and they're vampire leeches, so they die in the daytime. And we're almost at daytime here, but we still have to deal with them. They can still pop up there. I'm not gonna grab them all or not. And there they come. They come up one at a time. That's why you want to jump in the water and deal with them that way. Because dealing with this way is a pain in the ass. Done yet? Come on, when's daytime, right? That's what I mean. You see how annoying this is? And do this every day, every night, every day, dealing with that over and over again. And these areas are swarmed with guys, as you can see too. And another interruption on guys. You can't try and melee them. These guys just don't stop. Is it going to be daytime soon? That's what I mean. There's some more coming. Awesome. And they're coming back up here eventually. Oh, okay, I'm stuck under there. Okay, screw them for now. Anyways, the next part there is dealing with these guys here, and of course this is why you want the electric rifle, because the other gun is good enough, but we can charge it up there and do that. And when you're dealing with these little tentacle things, make sure you're killing off the tentacles. So just go around in circles and kill the tentacles off, or try and AoE the whole blast area thing, so you can get them to blow up and be done with them. Right? Are you guys done yet? Oh, it's storming out, so now there's no sun to kill you? Is that what it is? Last little bits, you're stuck there? Screw you guys. But anyways, that's how you deal with these tentacle guys, is, you make sure you kill all the tentacles around it so the thing blows up, because they will just regrow them and respawn, and now it's going to waste a lot of your time dealing with that, right? So you can just AoE blast them a couple times, get them all. I think that'll do. There we go. Now they won't respond. So yeah, deal with them that way. Everything else is just basic looting in this game. Lots of this game is going to connect the power supply to here, and then you can turn the power on there and open up some of the other doors that need power in this game. It's all pretty straightforward and simple. Like you can just grab the door and open up there, connect the power in here, connect it to there, turn the thing on there. Oh, we got some damage. These things always have like a built-in charge for yourself, so you can heal yourself up from any damage you took. All the other basic stuff in this game. And we covered the scrapping stuff right there. It's like, just be smart about the priorities on your scrapping. Since we have that net, you don't really have to worry about little things like, just basic metal parts like this right here. Just ignore scrap metal and stuff like that. But what's decent to scrap is going to be chairs, because you need that plastic. You need so much plastic in this game, and you need some fabric for some stuff. So you scrap the chairs, you scrap everything that says tech scraps and above for your scrap, and then you basically ignore the rest unless you need plastic. You're going to get plastic from some of the other stuff, but yeah, that's why you can, if you want to go there, look at all this loot here. If you wanted to loot it all, dropping a scrapper down here, like that's why you want to bring one with you, like I said, you can just go there and pick the stuff up and bring it in there versus scrapping it. Like pick it up, dump it in the scrapper, pick it up, dump it in the scrapper. Oh, my scrapper is over there. We have enough hauling capacity to pick it up and chuck it over there. There you go. And then we got these guys. And it's a lot better to use your little gun right here than it is to actually use your melee attacks. You use less energy when you're doing it. But yeah, everything else is just, you know, make sure you're searching everywhere, because they reward all the parkour crap that you got to do and open up the doors and search everything. It's going to be up to you if you actually want to repair everything in this game. I would recommend doing that. You just go over here and get all the resources to repair this stuff and then dismantle it after, because then you get the full resources to rebuild it at 100% for yourself. And it saves a little bit of time at the end in the long run to do that, and then just get a connection port and a frame, for example, when I need 2 frames, and I need some other stuff to build this too. This one is more ready to go. It's like has 2 solar cells and has a logic circuit too. There's a logic chip on that one there. So if it's a lot better just to repair all this stuff and get the full resources out of them to save yourself some headaches. But there you go. So excuse me. But there you go. That's the rundown of the basics on this game. It saves a lot of time. And of course, it's really handy loot button pops up there when there's any loot on the ground. Then just hold the loot everything. Just remember to do that. Then you can just run around and grab all this loot, and it's really that simple. Got your gun here. This is what you're doing the whole time at the start there. Right? Blow up the tentacles. Go around in circles. Don't touch the tentacles yourself, because they do hit point damage like this. Right? Take some damage that way. But yeah, just go around and double tap them like that. There you go, and you deal with them pretty quickly. Versus just trying to deal with them and run away like this. Like this is where you get the mistakes, right? They're coming at me. I'm gonna run away. I don't want to take any damage. I'll run away, deal with them like this. Then all of a sudden you forget to get all the tentacles, and they grow back. Like that, right? So all that extra energy wasted killing them all, and then these things will start getting a growth cycle and grow back, and then they'll respawn again. And so if you're topping them off, can be a pain in the ass for yourself to deal with. Now, as for the enemies in this game, it's pretty basic and straightforward. You get these guys here, you get leeches, you get spiders that do the same thing, and then you get some flying robots, some flying I guess what would you call them? Bees, basically. Then there's one big flying guy that does do heavy damage, because he uses like an electric gun and does a charge attack on you. So he does a full charge attack, and that can take up up to 25% of your health in a hit. Maybe more if it's direct. It's got to be a direct hit that really hurts you. But you can always tease those guys out by going underneath stuff, and then they'll fly around there. They can pop up and shoot them a little bit, and then duck underneath them. So there's always a way to tease those guys out there, and they don't attack you unless you attack them. So just ignore them until you're ready to take care of them, and try not to do that on your ship, obviously, because that would be a bad idea, right? But yeah, everything else it's all basically common sense for the most part. But yeah, hopefully some of the other little tips and information I showed you is helpful and useful for you at the start of the game and all the other stuff. So yeah, on that note, thanks for watching, and I will see you later. And if I missed anything, then it's probably not important, at least not important to me or important to the game. And I think you guys are smart enough to figure it out for yourself, because it's not really that challenging. At the end of the day, it's not really challenging to figure all this stuff out on your own. It's just helpful to learn about the stat weights. That's the most important part, is learn which stats are going to be more important, which ones are wasted, and which skills are wasted for your learning curve on that, and all the stuff that you got to do in this game. Because it's mostly about hauling stuff and building power supplies on these little outposts and using the power to charge stuff up there, and moving the resources back and forth. Like, what resources can you build on the fly? That's why I say build a scrapper, make sure you have that, and then from that scrapper you can build pretty much everything you need for whatever place that you're at, because they're going to be a lot bigger than this little dinky little place, right? And a lot more in-depth stuff that you got to do on them, especially on the seed vaults and the Lazarus complex. You get there, it's really huge, but don't worry, you'll be able to figure it out eventually. And there's lots of parkour tricks in there too, but it's still a pain in the ass to do. Anyways, storming every day, nighttime's a bitch. Complain about it because it's really bad. The ship, the dynamics is really bad with the waves. It's not realistic. They make the waves as realistic as possible, but they don't make the ship realistic and dealing with the waves. So yeah, back and forth on that, and of course they need to fix the performance issues of this game. But as for that, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.